So welcome everyone, and this is going to be a session about cognitive blind spots and cultivating the observer, because this is a very relevant subject, especially nowadays, because everything is obviously in turmoil, but it depends on the vantage point, obviously, where you're looking from. So let us divide, okay. The main senses we obviously know, but what is the sixth sense? The sixth sense is the mind, basically. And the main intention is to understand that our senses can be cultivated. And if we cultivate the senses, then we become more aware of the observer. And definitely there are many, many different ways to train your senses. You can use anchors, you can use awareness of your breath, because anchors are just tools you use to navigate and concentrate your mind. The ultimate or the penultimate way or the place to reach is that you have no techniques. All of these techniques, they self-destruct, but that is if you go into deeper states of non-dual practices like Zen and Advaita Vedanta, Atmavichara, and Dzogchen, Tibetan Buddhism. And these are, again, just some strange names probably, but at the same time, it's more feltable if you practice these things. And again, that's why I said when you do sessions, then they don't last for 10 to 20 minutes, the most likely, say plus 1 hour, because you go into a deep state with people who have no experiences in these spaces. But if you have experience, then paradoxically you already unfold your true self, that you are already here, and you train yourself through your senses and through the anchors. And there are so many different anchors: body, emotions, thoughts, and mindfulness, which is not the mindfulness that is used in the West, but the mindfulness from the East. There's 4 foundations. There's the body, there's the mind, there's the universal laws, Dhamma, and feelings. They're all used as gateways to enhance your awareness. But mostly it is being marketed in a way about performance and all these psychodynamics, which is true, because most psychology even is built upon these principles, I would say. It is said that when a scientist, for example, tries to go to India and observe a guru, then it's an elephant trying to understand, or it's a fly trying to understand an elephant, because that person, what's their name, whatever, is just space, and that there's a vessel there, but there's just a perfect mirror that mirrors you, your own inner stillness that is beyond the superstructure of the mind that we have created ourselves through our conditioning, through our lack of discernment, and so forth. But the penultimate truth about meditation is that it's always happening. You are just returning, you're recognizing yourself as your innate stillness. And when you start recognizing that, then you start cultivating the observer. When you cultivate the observer, then you see that everything, innovation, thoughts, businesses, investing, etc., they come out of that same space. It's a very interesting approach, because when I got back from India, back to my little home country, and I've lived in a lot of places, 7 countries or so, when I got back to my home and my conditioning, my meaning, in the sense that it's never mine, there's nobody mine, it's just what I perceive as mine, then I was definitely a bit, the superstructure got shaken up. But that's what needs to happen. It's a part of the path for sure. You go through a lot of phases there, and emotions are part of that integration process. And you can use emotions to integrate them, to release them, or work with them. There's a lot of what ways you can do that in mindfulness or hypnotherapy and so forth. So this is a broad spectrum, like, to keep it concise with time. So what is the importance of this? It is highly important to be aware of what your biases are and where you are falling short in life, because mostly we have no clue of these. That's why psychology fascinates me and neuroscience, that everything is measurable to a degree. And the simplest, most potent way of teaching is through non-dual practices, again, as I say, that you just recognize your inner stillness from moment to moment, which you paradoxically have to cultivate, because uh, there's a lot of murky waters above your field of consciousness before it gets purified. So the vantage point, again, the carbon triangle is a very useful tool to use when you navigate, and also the anchor, you can use it very efficiently. But again, these things, they self-destruct in the long run when you start recognizing your innate stillness, that your consciousness basically, but you are not your thoughts. That can be like for the mind. Yes, the rational prefrontal cortex is being wild. That's good. It's a part of the unfolding. So the vantage point is that simple. So where are you looking at life from? Let's take 4 levels, for example. First level is physical plane, the body, mannerisms, appearances. The second level is intellect, aspirations, ambition, the mental field. Fourth level is the astral field, so to speak. We start seeing energy as energy. People are charged, and that's, I think, it's a quantifiable measurement in quantum physics, and it's called constructive or non-constructive interference. Anywho, that's level 3. But the fourth level is when you talk to a person, for example, then do you see level 1, level 2, level 3, or you go to level 4, where you see that that person is the same as you, and then there's nothing that you might want to put on that person, because you are only a nudger. You can only give nudges to people. You can't change people. And when you are from that fourth vantage point, then you are totally interconnected with the causal plane. And that's where all ideas are. That's where all of the new frameworks in your life come from. So the main takeaway of this is definitely that our hidden human nature is always seen, but we need to cultivate it. We need to bring forth the blind spots that are in our domain, and at the same time, we need to cultivate our self-awareness and self-management, which will lead to effective collaborations with others, but at the same time, not waste our time doing relevant things, because mostly people are doing that. And that we are not our thoughts, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's it. And the main takeaway is, from my perspective, you are not your thoughts. That is what I realized, for sure. And I don't know if we have time for questions. Ask if you want to ask. And give some feedback. Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. This is I mean, I mentioned these are intersecting fields. Definitely. You can apply these even in AI, even in machine learning, even in business. But the tricky part there is, if you identify yourself, and identification is another broader topic. If you identify yourself as the person who's doing something, you are an entrepreneur, or you are the meditator, and so forth, then it got to do, because you actually If you step into the role, then you lose your inner sovereignty. You lose that inner stillness. That is the way you work, in whichever environment that you return to that stillness.